Hello everybody, Cooper here and welcome back to a brand new video here on AFL 23. Going to be doing something a little bit different today. Big Ant Studios, the makers of AFL 23, have just released the roster update for the 2024 season. And we're going to be going through the rosters, just seeing how everybody looks. We're going to be doing it through the management career section. So we're going to be creating a new file, and I'm also going to announce a series that I will be doing in relation to the new rosters. So as some of you are aware, I've been doing a series on my channel where we've been rebuilding every team until they win a premiership. We started that with the old rosters. We've done 3 or 4 clubs so far. I don't remember. I think it's 3 clubs so far. And you guys seem to have liked those videos. So we're going to be continuing that series. But we're going to be doing those other clubs now with the new rosters. Sydney is up next by viewer request, and then Carlton will follow. But if you guys want your club to be featured, please leave me a comment and I'll add them to the list. We will be doing obviously every club at some point in time. But today, oh, my cats are going wild. We're going to be looking at the rosters today though, and the new series that I will be announcing at the end of the video, so stick around till the end of the video, is we're going to be looking at the rosters, but there'll be a new series at the end of the video, so stick around, have a look, it's going to be great. Let's have a look at search all players. We're going to go through the rosters, see who's been upgraded, who's been downgraded, what are the major differences that we're going to be looking at, you know, in terms of the rosters. I've had a little bit of a sneak peek before recording this video, and one thing I have noticed is that a lot of players have been downgraded compared to last season, at the end of last season. A few players have changed positions, they've updated that. Obviously players in different teams, you know, who've changed teams. Example, Ben Mackay going from North Melbourne to Essendon, that's been updated. There's been a few other interesting things as well. They've added all the rookies, not all the rookies I should say. I think all of the first round draft picks that were there on draft night of night 1 of the draft. So I think they're all in the game now. Not every single rookie is in, or had their likeness in, I should say. But every new draftee is in, it's just their likeness is not in yet. I think Big Ant are going to release that at a later date. But we'll look at the Crows first. I can see that Darcy Fogarty, who featured in my Essendon video, has been downgraded from an 87 down to an 81. I assume that means his potential would have also changed as well. So there's been, you know, instances like that where some players have been downgraded, some players have been upgraded. I'm trying to think of a good example here on the Crows, if I can find one. Okay, nobody's jumping out at me initially, but I can see Daniel Curtin, who was a draftee by the Crows on draft night. As you can see, his likeness has been added. He's currently a 70 overall, so I wonder what Harley Reid's overall rating will be. If Dan Curtin, he's the 8th pick in the draft for context, is a 70, I'll be very curious to see what Harley Reid is. You know, obviously we're going to get him towards the later end of this video, because he does play for West Coast. We're doing this alphabetically. But Dan Curtin, he's got 89 to 99 overall potential. So he might be a player that we pick up in future rebuilds. You know, he looks to be a very good prospect. Obviously just the 18 years old. I'll be very excited to see what comes of him, both in real life as, you know, a part-time Crow supporter, and you know, and in general for the remainder of my rebuild. So we'll be waiting to see what happens with him. As we look at Brisbane now, I can see that Will Ashcroft has been upgraded. He's up to an 84 now. I believe he was an 80 towards the end of last year's game, or in terms of like the last rebuilds that I have done. A few other players have been upgraded. Cam Rayner, he was a 90 overall. He's gone all the way down to an 82, so he's at a big downgrade. That is very interesting. And I don't believe Brisbane had any first round draft picks in this past draft. I can see that Tom Doedee has been moved from the Adelaide Crows to Brisbane, as he was a free agent at the end of last year. So he's now an 88 overall. I believe he was a 90, if my memory serves me correct. Brisbane look like they're going to be around the mark again in future rebuilds. They're going to be a decent team. Carlton are next, and Cripps has been downgraded. I can already see that. He's lower than Chera now. Charlie Curnow was a 93. He's now down to a 90. Harry Mackay's an 88. There's a lot of players. Jack Silvani's been downgraded, as has Walsh and Wiedering. Walsh and Wiedering are two players I do like to get in my rebuilds, but if I have a look at their first round pick, I think that was Moya. He was the last of the first round pick, so he should be either up the top or down the bottom. I can't see him, so he might not be in the game just yet. So that is interesting. So he's not in the game yet, unless I am mistaken. No, he's not here yet, so it'll be interesting to see who's been included and who isn't. So yeah, I thought it was going to be all the rookies were going to be included, but their likeness wasn't going to be included. So it only looks like if they were there on draft night, because I know they did some of the draftees, they took photos and stuff of them and put their likeness into the game. So it's only going to be those players who make it into the game with this update. There are going to be further updates down the line. Collingwood is next, the reigning premiers. I can see that Nick Dacos surprisingly has been downgraded to an 88, but he has been moved to the midfield. He was previously a halfback flanker defender. So he was 91, he's down to an 88. I don't believe they had a first round pick. They do Harry DiMattia. He is their first round pick, but I don't know if he will be in the game because he probably wasn't there on draft night. We will have a look. No, I can't see him, so no, he's not there. But Darcy Moore's now a 90 overall. I don't know if he was a 90 before, but I'm looking for major changes. Maynard, I don't know if he was an 87. Obviously, I haven't done the Collingwood rebuild yet, so I'm not as familiar with their roster as I am with others. But yeah, the main takeaway from Collingwood is that Nick Dacos got a bit of a downgrade, which is quite funny. Essendon is up next, and this is the roster I am more familiar with as I literally just did a rebuild with them. So that is on the channel and live for you guys to watch if you wish. And I can see that Draper's got a downgrade. He was an 87 previously. Lewis Hayes has got a massive downgrade. He was like in the 70s and now he's a 53. What happened to Lewis Hayes? What's his potential? Jeez, he was really important in my Essendon rebuild and they've just declined him massively. So that is surprising. Who else is here? Jake Kelly's still here. Dyson Heppel's got a bit of a downgrade. Laverde's been downgraded. Langford's been given an upgrade. Zach Merritt's been given an upgrade. Andy McGrath's been given a downgrade. Parrish is about the same, I think. Mason Redmond's up one. But do they have a first round pick? They got Nate Caddy, who's 10th overall pick. So he should be here. I'm assuming he will be here. Here he is. Nate Caddy, 69 overall. Little small forward. Let's see what his potential is. 88 to 99. So again, he's going to be another very good pickup going into future rebuilds. I'm very much looking forward to using him. And it'll be interesting to see what some other players that I've used in the past, what their potentials are now, such as your Jamaras of the world, your Sam Darcy's, your Jai Clarks, those kind of players that I used a fair bit last year. Well, not last year, but on the last update, last version of the game, if you will. Fremantle are up next, and I can see that Andy Brayshaw has been given an upgrade, 91 overall. Sam Darcy's, is it Sean? Is it Sam or Sean? I don't remember. I think it's Sean, now that I think of it. Erasmus has been given a downgrade. He was quite a good player to get in rebuilds. I think I only got him in one of the rebuilds, but in my own sort of private time where I just practice rebuilds, not necessarily with the club that I am doing the rebuild with. I tend to do it first time. So like the Sydney one is next, for example. I don't practice the Sydney rebuild. I generally just do that one go, but I generally practice with Gold Coasters. I'll test out different players to see how they develop, and then if they work out well, I'll bring them in for future rebuilds. And Neil Erasmus was one player that I always really liked. He's been downgraded significantly. He's now a 74 overall compared to being an 80. So that is interesting. Nat Fyfe has been shafted. He's a 79 overall now. That seems low for Nat. I know he's injured a lot and doesn't play much, but that seems really low. I don't know. I don't feel good about that. And no first round pick for Fremantle this year. Let's move on to Geelong. Scratch that. I meant GWS. I always forget that GWS and Gold Coast are ahead of Geelong alphabetically, so GWS are next. Now, they did have a few first-round picks. They had Phoenix Gothard and James Leake, who was picked up in the draft, so it'll be interesting to see what we do with them. Now, GWS are a team that we have done their rebuild already. That went very well. Won a premiership within 3 years. My main man, Aaron Cadman, I think he's about the same. I think he was a 74 as of the last update, so that doesn't seem to have changed. Finn Callahan's been given a bit of a upgrade, I think. I think he might have been only a 78 or 79, so he's up to an 81 now, which is great. Harry Himmelberg's been downgraded. He was an 87, he's now an 84. But I'm noticing with like players that really haven't played a lot of football is they've taken them down from like a 70 overall, for example, and given them like a 55 or a 53 overall rating. So the talent level between the best players and the worst players is a lot greater, which I think is probably a good thing. The gap between someone like Jones and someone like Patrick Cripps should be really great because there's a distinct difference between those two players. Perryman's been given a downgrade, I can see. Sam Taylor, I think he might have been a 90-ish overall. Ward's been given a downgrade. Let's have a look at the first round picks. Phoenix Gothard, 71 overall. Small forward looks like. He's got a filthy mustache. Filthy mustache. But let's have a look at his player potential. 18 years old, number 29. 78 to 90, so his potential could be a little bit better. He was obviously picked up, I think it was the 12th pick. It says the 2022 draft. That should say the 2023 draft, so that's a little bit of a bug there. But he should be, a little bit higher considering how high he was taken. So we'll have a look at James Leake now. I forgot his name. As you can see, James Leake, he is a 68 overall defender, 18 years of age. He's got an 87 to 89 potential, so he might be a really good prospect going forward as well. Another one to keep an eye on. 17th overall pick in this year's draft. I'd be very interested to see how he goes. It'll be very interesting. Geelong are next after Greater Western Sydney, so not much has really changed with Geelong this off-season, I don't think, unless I'm really mistaking something. Why is Jai Clark a 55? I do not understand that. He's really good. I really like Jai Clark. Is his potential still good? Oh, he's been shafted. My guy. 59 to 67. That seems low. He was the 8th overall pick last year. How many games has Jai Clark played in real life? Let's look this up. Is it going to say in game? He's played one game. Has he really only played one game? Do I not just watch Geelong games that much? Let's have a look. I'm Googling this now. Oh yeah, he's only played one game. Well, there you go. But still, that seems really low. A 55 for a top 8 pick in the year before. That seems really low. Geelong did have a top draft pick in this year's draft. They had the 11th overall pick in Connor O'Sullivan, who is a massive key defender with a big head of hair. Look at that, that's almost Beatles-esque, that kind of hair. But we'll have a look. He's very tall, 198 centimeters key defender. 83 to 96 potential, so that's middle of the road. It's pretty good. So I think we could possibly do something with him in the future. He's probably not going to be my go-to selection, but he's still a very good player. He will be a very good player in the future. My beloved Gold Coast Suns are up next, and I like where the team's at. Some players have been downgraded, which is fine, but largely a lot of our players have been upgraded. I don't know if that's because we've got a new coaching staff. I don't know if that's just because we're a bit more experienced, but I like where the team is at. Porsa M. Day has been downgraded from 87 to a 73. To be fair, he did spend much of last season in the VFL, so I'm not entirely surprised of that. But Noah Anderson's up to an 88. I think he was an 86 last year, if I remember correctly. Ben King's an 84. That's gone down. I think he might have been an 85. Holman's down to an 84. He was an 85. Jai Farah's been upgraded. He's now an 84. Davies has been downgraded. He was an 83. Collins has been downgraded. He was an 86. Maybe there hasn't been as many upgrades as I think of. Took Miller's been downgraded. He was a 91, now he's an 86. But I like the team. It seems we're going to be pretty consistent over the board. Now, obviously, we did have a lot of draft picks, a lot of high draft picks in this most recent draft. We had the 3rd pick, the 9th pick, the 14th pick, and the 26th pick. So it'd be very interesting to see where they are currently in terms of... Why am I going this way? I could literally just do that. So I can see that Jed Walter is here. I can see that Ethan Reed is here. Rogers is also here, which is great. But I can't see Will Graham, probably because he wasn't there on draft night. So that is okay. Let's see what Jed Walter was. He was the number 3 overall pick. Actually, if we do it this way, this will be much easier. Why haven't I done this more recently? So, number 17, he's a big old boy, big key forward. What's his potential? 83 to 97. For the number 3 overall pick, I did think it would be higher. But I think he's going to be an excellent player for us in the future. He is a big old boy with Lukosius, with King. We've now got him. I think our forward line is set in terms of key forwards. I think we're going to be really, really good this past season. Reed is up next. Now, he's got a mustache as well. He's massive. 202 centimeters. What's his potential? 84 to 99. Also very good. Bit more typical from the 9th overall pick to have a little bit of a lower potential. I don't expect everybody to have like 90 plus overall potential. But that's probably fair for the 9th overall pick. I think he's going to be very good. Jared Witts is obviously getting a little bit on the older side. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens to him this season. Last but definitely not least of our draft picks, we've got Jake Rogers wearing the number 29, which Gary Ablett obviously didn't wear on the Gold Coast, but I still associate with Gary Ablett. Little small midfielder, 172 centimeters, also has a filthy mo. Let's see what his potential is. 81 to... Where's my voice gone? Jeez, I need a drink of tea. 81 to 92 potential. Number 14 overall pick this year. I think he's got a bright future. I think he's going to be really good. You know, the beauty of us having our academy is that we've got so many players that are from the Gold Coast that hopefully are going to want to stay there. That is the plan. Hopefully they all stay there and they all don't go to Victoria. It's all very sad when that happens. Hawthorn is up next, and Will Day has come straight to my attention because I recently recruited him for my Essendon video. He is now an 89 overall. He was previously an 80. He has been given a huge upgrade, and that is nice to see because I quite like him. I think he's a really good player. He's also been moved from defence to midfield. Cam Mackenzie has also been given a nice upgrade. He is now an 83 overall. I wonder what his potential is, so we'll shortlist him for later. Now, did Hawthorn have a big pick this year? They did. Nick Watson. They also had Will McCabe with the 19th overall pick. He is a father-son selection, so we're going to have a look at him. Hopefully he is in the game. Hard to say whether he will be or not. And that is it in terms of Hawthorn first-round picks. So let's have a look. Geez, Jai Sarong's been shafted. 56 overall. Ward's been upgraded, I can see. He was, I think he was like an 80 or an 82 or something like that. Chad Wingard coming off his injury has been downgraded. That's not surprising. Chol, he's been moved from the Gold Coast to Hawthorn. He's been given a big downgrade. He was an 85 before. Jack Ginnivan's been moved from Collingwood to Hawthorn. Nice to see he's got the long sleeves. Jack Gunston is moved to Hawthorn? I feel like I knew that, but it still seems surprising. Now we've got McCabe here, which we'll shortlist, and we've also got Watson. Cam Mackenzie, I know said we're going to look at him. 20 years old. I just want to have a look at his potential. I know he's not a draftee this year. Or 87 to 98, he's very good. He's still got 2 years left in his contract, so he might be a fairly good player to pick up in the future. I just want to have a look at him. I just really like him. All right, Nick Watson is up first, as he was the 5th overall pick. It'll be very interesting to see. He's got a moustache. A moustache is in? Is that a thing? I mean, I have a beard, but I don't have a moustache. I mean, it's all connected. It'd be a bit weird to have, like, the beard without the mo. But, and you know what I mean. It's, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm getting sidetracked. Nick Watson, forward pocket, only 170 centimeters, a tiny little thing. 87 to 99 potential. I really like where this is headed. He's going to be very good and he's cheap. Hopefully means we'll be able to get him in the future. Now, when it comes to Will McCabe, the son of Luke McCabe, who used to play for Hawthorn, obviously. Key defender, 197 centimeters, no mo, 80 to 94 potential. So there's a lot of range there. So very interesting to see how far that goes in terms of if he's only going to hit a 90, how often is he really going to hit a 94? But at least they've got the range there. So he could potentially be okay. He could potentially be an All-Australian. We don't know. Melbourne are up next. Now, I don't think they did any real business in the draft this year. I know they have Windsor, who was the 7th overall pick. So we will shortlist him very shortly if I can find him. There he is. And they also picked up Tholstrup. Colton? That's a great name. Colton Tholstrup. Tholstrup. But I don't think he's here. So yes, we're only going to be looking at Windsor today. But in terms of the rest of their roster, we've got... Brayshaw's still here. He's been downgraded, but he's still here, which is, I suppose, is nice. Ben Brown is here with his weird hair. I liked it better when he had the sideshow bob hair. I don't know. I know he shaved it off for charity, which is a wonderful thing. I've cut my hair for charity before, so... I don't know. I just prefer him with the longer hair. That's just how I feel. Max Gawn here looking fantastic as always. Jefferson, who's another player that I really liked on the previous update. He's been really downgraded. Petrarca is still amazing. Salem is still good. Shaki is still in the AFL. Does he play? Do I just not watch Melbourne games? I really only watch Gold Coast and Adelaide games. I don't really watch a lot of Melbourne, I'll be honest. Tommy Sparrow, played against Tommy Sparrow, many moons ago. Poor Taj Woden. He played games last year. He's just, actually he might have been the sub last year. I don't remember if he played. But he's been downgraded. And they've got obviously McAdam, who is one of their brand new free agents from the Adelaide Crows. So we're going to have a look at Windsor now. Caleb Windsor, the 7th overall pick, 70 overall. He's got a nice sort of mullet arrangement. I really like it. He's got the mo as well, so they're in season, obviously. 81 to 91 potential. Could be better. Could also be worse. But I think he's going to be... okay. It's going to be tough to get a game in that Melbourne midfield between Clary and Petrarca. Obviously, Brayshaw's retired, so there's a bit of a vacancy there. But very tough to get a game in the Melbourne midfield now. North Melbourne are up next. Now, they were very active in the draft this year. They picked up Colby McKercher with the 2nd overall pick and Zane Dersma, the brother of Xavier Dersma from Port Adelaide, who I believe is the next club that we're going to be looking at. But they have done some serious upgrading to some of these players. I know that Sheasel got a bit of an upgrade, because I did have a little bit of a peek before. But Davies Uniacke has been given an upgrade. From what I can see, Cooper Harvey's been downgraded, poor bugger. Nick Larkey, I think he's the same actually. I don't know why I thought he got an upgrade. Sheasel's, actually, he's been downgraded, but he's been moved to defense, which might affect his attributes. I don't know. But he's now been moved out of the midfield to half back. So that might tinker with something. I don't know. I know Wardlaw's been given an upgrade, because I did look at him and have a look at his potential, but we'll look at it again on camera. Liam Shields is still here, still on the list, but McKercher we're going to have a look at, and Dersman, I've gone straight past him, we're going to have a look at him as well. We'll look at Wardlaw first, 78 overall, had a good year last year, only played the 8 games, but I thought he was okay from what I did see. 85 to 97, so that was definitely upgraded. I think he was an 81 to 91 previously. Looks like he signed a new contract as well, so it will be difficult to get him out of North Melbourne. But he's a very good player. I think he will become a very good player. And it's just a matter of time before he really taps into that potential. Look at Dersman first, 18 years old. He's been given the number 7. Who used to wear number 7 for North Melbourne? Can't remember. But yes, he looks very good. He's probably like a half forward. He's 190 centimeters, so he's quite tall. Hasn't played a game, obviously. Let's have a look at his potential. 86 to 99. The elusive 99. He looks good. I think I'm going to bring him in on a rebuild one day. You're definitely going to see him out of North Melbourne colours on my channel. Last but not least, we have Colby McKerker, who is the second overall pick from this year's draft. 71 overall, halfback flanker. 89 to 99 potential. That is very good. So he is basically destined to be a fantastic player, no matter what point of his career you recruit him, unless he's like 37 years old, where he's going to be like a 40 overall. But he is going to be a very good player, definitely one I'm going to be picking up in future rebuilds. As stated, Port Adelaide are up next, and Aliir straight off the bat has been given an upgrade, as has Butters. I can't see Connor Rosie because he's not in frame just yet, but we'll scroll down and have a look at him shortly. But I think everybody looks pretty similar, only like really subtle changes to the Port Adelaide list. Horn Francis has been given a massive upgrade. He was only like a 78 or something. He was actually a 78. He was a bit higher than that, maybe like an 84 or something, but he's been given an upgrade. I'm assuming his potential will still be very good, so we'll have a look at that shortly. 93, jeez! We'll have a look at his potential in a minute. That is a massive upgrade for Connor Rosie. I think he was like a 90 or an 89 previously. That's awesome. Ollie Wines has been down 85. That seems low for Ollie Wines, Brownlow medalist. And Zerk Thatcher, a new free agency signing from Essendon, who I didn't really use in the Essendon save file. I did trade him to Port at some point, so he's been boosted from an 83 to an 86 as well. So, you know, good for him. I used to play with Brandon, so we're going to have a squiz at Horn Francis first. I feel like it's going to be a lot more difficult to trade for him in the future. 86 to 99 potential, so he's already reached the bottom end of his potential, so it's only going to get better from here. But still, that is fantastic potential. Connor Rosie also, he's been made the captain of Port Adelaide. I don't think I've ever tried to trade for Connor Rosie, but it's going to be downright impossible unless you want to be paying the big bucks for him. 93 to 99 potential. As expected, he signed a brand new contract in the off season, so that has been shown here in game, and yeah, it's going to be tough to trade for Connor Rosie. Tigerland is up next, and I can't see any major upgrades, I don't think. I can't see any draft picks that they had. I'm just looking at my draft list now. I don't think they held their first round pick this year. I think they traded it away. But I can see that Dusty's been moved out of the forward line to a midfield position, which is interesting. He's now an 85 overall. I think he was an 87 previously. But yeah, I know that certain players have been definitely downgraded to make it the distance between the worst players and the best players a lot greater, which I think is a good thing. But I think most of the Richmond players are about the same. Kajitsky's now here. He moved as a free agent. I'm just checking my draft list once again to make sure I haven't missed anybody. Nah, I'm all good. I haven't missed anybody. Let's move on to the next club. Saints are up next. I did forget to mention that Jade Gresham in my last Essendon rebuild actually moved to Essendon in real life. I completely forgot about that and did not do that intentionally, so whoopsie. But I can see that Max King's been given a downgrade. He was like an 87 previously. He's all the way down to an 80. They've drafted Darcy Wilson at the 18th pick, so I don't know whether or not he'll be here, because I don't know. I didn't watch the draft, so I don't know if he will be in attendance. Jack Sinclair's up to a 90. Is it Jack? Jack Sinclair? Is that right? I don't know. Jack Steele's an 89. Darcy Wilson is here. I was predicting that he would be here, but he is here also. And Liam Henry has also moved. He had quite good potential in the last patch, or before the last patch, and Paddy Doe's now here as well. Is that Riley Bonner? He's also here. So we'll have a look at Wilson. 18 years of age, 69 overall. What is his potential going to be? He's an 85 to a 96. I feel like that is an exceptional value at the 18th overall pick. I think he is going to be definitely a player I target in future rebuilds. Definitely one I can develop in the future. And he's only contracted for a couple of seasons, as most of the rookies are, unless they've signed a contract extension already, which I don't think any of them have. But yes, I think he's going to be a very good player in my rebuilds in the future. Swans are up next. They did have an academy selection, if I'm not mistaken. Caden Cleary at the 24th pick. Now, because he was so late, I don't think he'll be in the draft, but he'll be on the list, sorry. But they also did draft Will Green at the 16th pick, so we'll have a look at him if he is there. But in terms of the Swans roster, everything looks pretty the same. They've had a few retirements in the offseason, like Paddy McCartan's retired, Buddy Franklin's obviously retired, so it'd be very interesting to see what other changes there are. I don't think there's any major downgrades that I can see. Connor Vickery might be one of them, but everything looks pretty the same. Obviously, Brody Grundy is now here as well. I forgot to mention that, as is Taylor Adams. It looks like Grundy got a bit of a downgrade, which I'm not actually that surprised about. He didn't have a great year last year. But Taylor Adams obviously missed out on the premiership at Collingwood and has been moved to Sydney. So it'll be very interesting to see how they play this year. The Swans are off to a great start so far. I think they've won their first 2 games. And I can't see Will Green and I can't see Caden Cleary. So we are going to move on to West Coast. West Coast are up next now. I've made the one player I haven't looked at yet, and I've done it on purpose because I wanted to save my reaction until I'm on video, is that of Harley Reid. Now, Harley Reid is going to be very important to the rest of this video. I'll explain in a minute. But the rest of the West Coast list looks basically the same. Chesser is the same. Ginby's the same, I think. It looks pretty similar. West Coast, they obviously picked Harley Reid with the first overall pick in the draft. I don't think there was anybody else on my list that I can see. No, so it's only Harley Reid we're going to be looking at. Tim Kelly might have gotten a bit of an upgrade. I suppose that's nice. McGovern's been downgraded. Petruccelli's about the same, I think. Dom Sheed's about the same. Yo's been given a downgrade. Matt Flynn's moved from GWS. Harley Reid is a 72. That seems low. For the number 1 pick, I feel like 72. I know he hasn't played a game. Well, he's played 1 game. But 72 seems low. I think we'll see what his potential is. We'll shortlist him. We'll have a look in a second. But I think 75 is probably fair. He's got great hair, though, Harley Reid. He's got fantastic hair. Actually, I don't need to shortlist him because he's the only player we're going to be looking at. But he's a midfielder. He's a big boy, 187 centimeters. He's got the headband of destiny. What's his potential? 92 to 97. So he doesn't get the 99, which is interesting. Looks like he has signed a contract extension. So he's contracted through to 2026, which is still very tradable if you're wanting to trade for him. I'm not saying I would want to trade him, but if you want to trade for him, like if I take over Sydney, for example, and I want to get Harley Reid, that contract is still very tradable because of the low years and the low amount of wages. Obviously, the potential in that is through the roof, which is, make an impact. But I will be getting him in future rebuilds. I'm not going to try and get him in every rebuild because I feel like that would just get repetitive. I do try and mix it up a little bit with the players that I do get, and hopefully that does show. But I feel like his rating should be a little bit higher. Maybe I'm buying into the hype a little bit too much, but I feel like it should be a little bit higher. Last but not least, we have the Western Bulldogs. Now, there are a few players I want to look at here. They've upgraded Bontempelli, it looks like. He might have been a 92. I think he's a 93 now. Timmy English has been given a nice upgrade. But there is also a couple of players I want to look at. Riley Sanders is one of them. He was the 6th overall pick. They had a father-son selection, Jordan Croft, who is the son of Matthew Croft. He was picked up with the 15th overall pick. And I also want to look at Sam Darcy because he's one of my favourite players to trade for. He's a key forward now, not a key defender. That's interesting. The dream team of Jamara and Sam Darcy in the forward line. I love it. We'll also be looking at Jamara, because hopefully he would have gotten an upgrade. Aaron Norton's been given a little bit of an upgrade, I think. Jamara is the same, but I wonder if his potential has been upgraded. I can also see that Riley West has been upgraded, so we're going to look at him as well. Jordan Croft is a 68 overall, and Sanders is a 70 overall. So we're going to shortlist these players. We're just going to go to the watch list now. We're going to have a look at Sam Darcy, 78 overall, which I think his overall is the same. What is his potential? 89 to 99. I think it was 91 to 99 previously, which is not the end of the world when you think of it, because he's still going to be very good. And the difference between an 89 and a 91 is basically negligible. But still, he's going to be very, very good, you know, in future rebuilds. Jamara is here. He's only got 1 year left on his contract, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a look at his potential. Also 89 to 99. He is out of contract at the end of this season, so is definitely a viable option. He's ineligible for free agency, so you definitely have to get him via trade. But he looks like he's still going to be an amazing player on this game in the future. Riley West is up, obviously the son of Scott West, a little bit older, 23 years old, but he did get an upgrade. I wonder what his potential is going to be. 82 to 89, not too bad. He's also out of contract at the end of this season. I probably wouldn't look at him other than the fact he's Scott West's son, and that he wasn't very good in the past, before the last patch. But he might be a little bit better now, so might be someone to definitely consider in the future. But now we get into the draftees. We're going to look at Riley Sanders first, as he was the higher draft pick. He's a 70 overall, 19 years of age, wearing the number 9, made famous by I Don't Know. 83 to 96 potential. That seems low for the number 6 overall pick, but I'm sure Big Ant Studios know what they're doing when it comes to allocating potentials to players. But I think he's going to be good. He's going to be good at some point in his career with that level of potential, whether it be at the lower end of an 83 or as high as a 96. He's going to stay on an AFL list, you know, at absolute worst. Last but not least, we have Jordan Croft, 18 years old, 201 centimeters. He is a big boy, and he's got 84 to 97 potential from the 15th overall pick. There are better key forwards out there on the game in terms of potential, but he might be, just as a cheap option, be one to bring in for the future. I don't think there's any other players I want to look at today, but there is the last bit of news I will be sharing in this video that hopefully you guys are still here and be watching for, is I will be doing career simulations with certain players following their careers until they retire, the first of which will be Harley Reid. So this is why I picked West Coast at the start of the video. This is why I am putting so much emphasis on Harley Reid in this video. He's an amazing talent, and instead of trading for him in my next rebuild, I'm going to center an entire rebuild around him. So in the coming days, this video is going to be released on the 19th, on the same day it's recorded, because the patch has literally only just been released within the last half an hour. So in the coming days, I don't know exactly what time, I won't promise anything, because I plan on following his entire career until he retires or becomes no good to play anymore. We're going to be tracking his stats, we're going to be tracking, you know, Brownlows, Coleman's if he wins one, All Australians, Premierships. We're going to be doing the whole shebang. So if there's a player you want me to do in the future, put a comment down below. I will be starting with Harley Reid. I might work my way through the draft. I might do some of players from the last draft as well. But also, if there's a specific player you want me to do, I can certainly add it to the list and go from there. But I hope you have enjoyed this little look at the updated rosters and everything. I've gone through a couple of key players that I think are going to be important for rebuilds in the future. But I've really enjoyed this little look of things. It's a little bit different. But if you've enjoyed today's video, do consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. We're getting closer and closer to 500 subscribers. The goal is to get there by the end of June. So if you could help out and leave a thumbs up on the video, help the video be pushed out there, get to as many people as we can, and subscribe to the channel for more AFL 23 content. I also do Cricket 24 content. Currently doing a Steve Smith career mode, which I've recorded a lot of episodes for. in advance. So there's going to be a lot of videos of that coming out, you know, basically every day, if not every couple of days. So until next time, guys, I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you guys then. Bye.